Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Caitlin June and I'm a freelance digital illustrator. In this video, I'm going to show you how I improved my art over the span of 5 years. If you get anything from this video, please feel free to subscribe or follow me on my other social media at Caitlin June. So let's get into the video. The background on this piece is that it was a sketch that I really loved and I wanted to take it up a notch. So the sketch was kind of old, from 2016, and it had a few anatomy issues. I didn't use a reference, kind of obvious. So I'm looking forward to getting a chance to fix that. Surprisingly, this was one of the more popular works and prints that I had listed on my Etsy. So what I wanted from this piece was for it to have a more ethereal background and just a few more elements of realism to the hair and to the face and the way that things were rendered, and for the background to be abstracted but in a realistic way. So here's what I'm going to focus on in the redraw: anatomy, working with a reference, and becoming better acquainted with the pose. And since this isn't a super realism piece, using my own better judgment to morph that into my own style. Break the hair into better shapes, build better atmosphere, better lighting, better color harmony, and focus on creating a nice scene. Lastly, I'd really like to focus on creating better line work, just in general better flow and not so stagnant, because a lot of the line work feels very much too tight and there isn't a human flow to it. So you'll see here I'm very loosely sketching in what I think is going to work, and it doesn't. So what happens is I am quite a rigid drawer. I get very stagnant in my mind when I'm drawing something, and it often takes me a couple times to loosen up and get the flow of something. So here I am playing with this idea and it doesn't work out. I get about this far where the color just isn't working out, and I decide I'm going to start over completely. So the second pass is very rough, and I decided that the most successful way for me to draw is to just abandon all perfectionism and draw as loosely as I possibly can, and for as long as I possibly can, keep that looseness and make sure that I have the whole composition figured out in that kind of loose mentality. And that creates a great foundation for drawing, and I think I'm just getting a lot more out of that approach, so that's what I've been doing lately. The brush I'm using is a brush that I downloaded for free from Gumroad. I was just looking up pencil brushes, so if you're looking for a nice pencil brush, you might want to try there. So the way I work with color, I like to have everything on separate layers. I like to have my skin, flesh, figure on a separate layer, their hair on a separate layer, the background separate layer, the moving parts in the front, always on separate layers, everything on a separate layer. And I come back in with clipping masks and kind of color harmonize everything. So at first, the color does not really matter to me. As long as I have a vision in my head of what it's going to look like at the end, it really doesn't matter. So I just color adjust after. So the remainder of this video is kind of obvious. I'm just going to let it play out without talking through, but if I have another point, I might interject, but enjoy the video. So one of my favorite coloring hacks is to copy the canvas after I've gotten to about the 70% mark of coloring, and I put it on top of all of the other layers, and I take it into the gradient map function on Procreate and kind of just scroll through the gradients. I've made a couple custom gradients myself, but they're really easy to play with, but it's so fun. So what I do is I find a gradient that I like and then apply different layer blending modes to it. My favorite one is actually the purple one that's already in the default gradient, and I'm usually using that one in most of my work. So what I do is scroll through each blending mode and just see what it looks like, because there's been a rare occasion where multiply really works for what I'm trying to communicate, or it really just depends on what I'm doing. But for this instance, I used the purple default gradient map color, and then I applied it in overlay and reduced the opacity. Another thing I'm really enjoying doing in my work is coloring the line work, and even if I'm just changing it from black to a dark purple, it softens things up ever so slightly.